Last week, an article in the British Times disclosed a previously unknown SAM system that Ukraine has been using. Apparently, the UK has mated some of its ASRAAM air-to-air missiles to a truck-based launch platform and integrated it all into a SAM system, with several systems already in use before the SAM was disclosed. What sort of capabilities could that new SAM system have, and why might it be a worthy addition protecting the offensive efforts? This is the only image so far of the system. It appears to show two British ASRAAM missiles launched via rails without any containers, mated to a Supacat HMT light truck. The British Army uses a wide variety of Supacat HMT trucks as they offer very good off-road mobility. These specific ones may have come from ex-Soothsayer electronic warfare trucks. Sadly, sensor mast is not clearly visible in the image. It resembles several possible such masts in use, from Rota's sensor pack to Hawkeye optical and radar sensor kit to Leonardo's Nereo optical sensor package. Such systems, like Nereo, are credited by their manufacturers to detect helicopter-sized targets at 40 to 45 kilometers away and identify them at 15 to 30 kilometers away. It's possible there's also a radar present, but the image simply doesn't show that. The launch rails seem to be taken from the retired British Tornado jets, which had used ASRAAM missiles. So basically what seems to have happened is that the British thought about the Ukrainian problems, where they lack SAM systems, especially of tactical category, and have made up a fairly elegant Frankenstein mashup of parts. British engineers have taken trucks, missiles, launch rails and sensors from other systems and joined them in a completely new SAM system. The British Times, citing an Ukrainian air defense lieutenant colonel, said some of the systems have been helping protect Kiev from drones, which is logical knowing ASRAAM missile doesn't cost nearly as much as a Patriot. Yet it is hugely more capable than a Manpad class missile like the Stinger. It was also said some of the systems have been supporting Ukraine's counteroffensive. The high mobility vehicle allows for quick maneuvers. Especially if supported by outside radars, the vehicle could move into an area, fire off missiles, then run away. Russian helicopters have been a big problem during the Ukrainian offensive, as Ukraine still doesn't have enough Western tactical SAM systems. Russian helicopters could spot targets and shoot from 8 or more kilometers away, while if Ukrainian SAM systems would be at the front line, they would get threatened. But holding them back, say 10 clicks behind the front line, so they are safer, means that they would lack the range to engage Russian helicopters. The systems that do have the range, like Speed, NASAMS and such, are not mobile enough to be used tactically to support the offensive. The mentioned Ukrainian colonel confirmed that to the Times, saying that the shortage of missiles is threatening to derail Ukraine's counteroffensive, that the army had run out of munitions that were meant to dislodge the Russians at the end of May, forcing the troops to storm the Russian fortifications head-on. Which is why this Supacat-based ASRAAM system is a welcome addition to Ukrainian arsenal. It's light, mobile, and its missiles pack quite a punch. ASRAAM's range in its air-to-air role is not really disclosed. Some allegations put it at 50 kilometers. That's not so strange, knowing that it has a much bigger rocket motor than a US Sidewinder. But crucially, that same rocket motor is used in the British CAM missile, in a very similar package. CAM, also known as Sea Scepter and Land Scepter for the Army, has a different seeker section, foldable rear fins, and a special gas thruster kit to steer it after its vertical launch. So it's a bit longer and heavier than ASRAAM. But even with the same rocket motor, it's credited with a range of 25 kilometers or more. It's very likely these ground-launched ASRAAM missiles can also reach 25 kilometers or more, against certain target types. A delimiting factor in Ukraine might not be their kinetic range, but the guidance method used. If the Supacat trucks rely solely on their own sensors, then the range may be more limited, due to the Earth's curvature, terrain masking and clutter and so on. But if they are fed data from the overall radar network and SAM network, which is actually likely, then they might even be able to launch missiles blindly in certain situations. Another cool thing about ASRAAM is that it has a data link and lock-on after launch capability, meaning its seeker can be set to search for a target on its own in flight. and that the missile can be redirected in flight via data link. That being said, ASRAAM uses an imaging infrared seeker, unlike the more capable radar seeker of the CAM. While better than older generation Sidewinders, such infrared seekers may still have issues at long ranges, against helicopters too, and let alone against drones, which have even smaller thermal signatures. So unless at least partially cued by the SAM network and told which area to go to, ASRAAM may be unable to utilize its full 25 km reach, but it may fall to 10 or 15 km if it has to search for targets on its own. The true effectiveness of the ASRAAM is yet to be seen, of course. Why has Britain sent its premier short to medium range missile? Because British RAF is currently getting a new batch of Block 6 ASRAAMs to replace the older ASRAAMs. Those are newly built, as that was cheaper than to modernize old ones. The old ones, nearing the end of their life expectancy, are now being sent to Ukraine instead of being disposed of. The Australian Air Force retired ASRAAMs as well a few years ago, so those too may be available. All this shows that behind the big announcements for flashy systems from the West, such as the F-16s, the Patriots, tanks and so on, there's a whole set of new systems, sometimes makeshift ones, that are being sent to Ukraine below the radar, with the public getting to know about them only after they've been put to use. Storm Shadow integration onto Soviet-made planes was kept secret until their first mission. Sea Sparrow missile integration to Soviet launchers was not publicized much before the US documents leak a few months ago. HARM missile and JDAM bomb integration to Soviet-made planes was also kept very quiet for as long as possible. These ASRAAM-based systems have yet to prove their worth, but to Ukraine they are certainly a welcome addition. And if the course of war so far has shown us anything, the influx of these kind of secret new makeshift systems and weapons integrations is likely to continue.